discusses the presentation and debugging of controversial topics and beliefs. Some or all of the topics discussed may be emotionally triggering or otherwise upsetting. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and good Wednesday evening. I am glad to be back here. I am Lord Falconis, and this is World of Woocraft. This is where we are going to be debunking all sorts of New Age crud, and tonight we're going to be discussing starseeds. So, as most of you might have known who have been following, I recently went to a panel that was all about starseeds at Conscious Life Expo. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to film the entire thing because it was about 2 hours of nonstop coverage and I was running out of cell phone power, but I did get control of the script and everything inside of it. But I'm starting to realize maybe I need to start from square one when it comes to starseeds, and we need to provide a much better explanation, or at least attempt it, because it can get all over the place, as to what exactly a starseed is. So, without further ado, our person today is going to explain to us just exactly what is a starseed. So we're going to start with this, and then as we go on, we're going to slowly debunk her as we go forward. So without further ado, here we go. So right out of the gate, here is how she starts. She says that this is a channeled message. What she means by that is essentially the Christian version of a prayer, or saying that they speak through God. They claim that these aliens or these extraterrestrial beings or some sort of universal force are coming from the heavens or wherever it is, and then beaming down into her head and out their mouth. And whatever this is, it's totally something that is totally from aliens. Yes, all totally believable, I am sure. But let's keep going. Uh-oh. All better. There we go.
The Starseed mission. Episodes 1 and 2 also go into the greater picture of what are starseeds.
So essentially a starseed is someone that believes that they are incarnated as they are the soul of an extraterrestrial being that is reincarnated into a human for all sorts of reasons. What reason it is depends on whatever frickin' person you talk to who claims that they're a starseed. It could be that they've been sent here to be incarnated as a human to fix the earth, or they could be here to learn lessons. They could be here to learn all sorts of things. Apparently, and the best part is you could probably ask 5 different starseeds what your purpose is as another starseed, and you'd probably get 5, possibly even 6 different reasons as to why you exist.
So that is, are you an emissary of light? And then the second episode.
And they're also big on light working, which is essentially do-gooders. That's what a light worker is all about. You're supposed to be doing good. Unfortunately, a lot of charlatans, for example, Teal Swan and Melody Fletcher and all that, also think that they're light workers, and they're not.
What's it called? I can't remember. Let me look it up. So the second episode is called, Are You Feeling Like I Don't Belong on Earth? So I'll put the link.
Another thing that they say is that they don't believe that they're on Earth, or they're not supposed to be on Earth because they're aliens. And really, it's probably because Earth itself is kind of fucked up, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of starseeds probably line up with neurodiverse communities, ADHD, autism, and the like. And as such, there's an actual logical reason as to why they stand out instead of just them thinking that they're freaking aliens from another planet.
Links to those in the corner. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Karen McMullen. It's a pleasure to meet you. On this channel, I share 2 times a week channeled messages from the Council of Light. And if
Okay, so her channeling is from the Council of Light. There's a whole bunch of different people that supposedly channel from different places. If you'll recall in the Conscious Life Expo, we had one supposed starseed that said that they received instructions and interpretations and things like that from a supposed solar plane that's supposedly somewhere in our solar system. But when asked where exactly, they probably would have been like, I don't know where exactly. Can we get a good telescope to go look at it? Nope, probably not, because it's magically and conveniently invisible. So this is one such one. The other one such is called the Galactic Federation of Light. Another one that's actually kind of starting to turn into a cult. It's starting to get really scary.
If you do identify as a starseed, and after watching this video, you identify as a starseed, then I just want to say
you need professional help, probably.
Welcome. And it's a pleasure to meet you. Please introduce yourself. And I'm really looking to connect with the starseeds of the world so we can wake up together and do what we came here to do.
Which is, I don't really know, actually. The whole concept of a starseed's purpose, as I pointed out, is so vague and ambiguous that it could arguably mean anything. It apparently will probably just depend on the narrative of whoever it is you just talked to.
So let's jump in and receive the beautiful clarity that comes through with understanding the traits of a starseed.
Oh yes, the gongs and the pings and the triangles and all that stuff, all familiar New Age stuff. Apparently dinging a bell is some sort of enlightenment thing. No, I'm afraid not. The Christians have been pulling that shit for 2,000 years, and arguably several religions prior to that had been doing it before you, so...
Awaken to your starseed mission.
And this is where the gentle voice comes in. You know the voice. You ever listen to a guided meditation? It's the nice, gentle voice that slowly leads you in whatever the heck it is that it's doing, as it tells you to release things and lower things and tense things and do things and release your bowels and all of that stuff. And then you start to relax, and then the stream that you're watching has some ridiculous jump scare and it completely ruins everything. That totally didn't happen to me today, by the way. Totally didn't.
Episode 6, Traits of a Starseed. What do I need to know? You don't need to know anything.
Well, there you go. You don't need to know anything. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to know what it is that I am. I don't even get to know what alien I'm from. And yes, there are different aliens that you could supposedly be from. You could be a Pleiadian, you could be an Arcturian, you could be a Felinian. You could be a number of different things, apparently, and that's apparently something that you meditate on and enlighten to. But we're not supposed to know anything? That kind of reminds me of some of the stuff about Christianity.
We are not speaking to you. We are speaking through you.
No, this sounds exactly like prophet stuff. Like you're saying, like this is exactly the kind of stuff you'd hear out of Kat Kerr when she says that she's speaking through God. Hey, I got the worst freaking hiccups for a sec. All right. Let's take care of that. But yeah, it's this kind of stuff that you hear from prophets and priests that claim that they're speaking through God. This is literally the same kind of garbage, except it's New Age stuff.
To whom are you speaking? We are wishing to address humanity at large by medium of those who have come with a Starseed mission.
And of course, the Starseed mission is, well, how do we know? We're not supposed to know, apparently. So how can we know our mission when you don't even tell us what our mission is? This is some of the same stuff we see with Christianity. God says that you might be supposed to do something, but he's not going to tell you what it is. He isn't going to tell you what to do. You're just going to do it or something. Or God will tell you what to do, but it's going to sound like something patently absurd. Or he will just let you figure it all out. It just seems so weird that This narrative is here, and it sounds eerily similar to Christianity.
How do you know if you have a Starseed mission?
Apparently you're not supposed to know, but go on.
You have felt as though you are different from others and humans in general all of your life.
No. That basically just sounds like you're not neurotypical. That is a logical and easy explanation. You just simply, you may be on the spectrum. You may have ADHD. You may have another neurological disorder. These are not things that you need to go to Conscious Life Expo or speak with a Starseed coach or anything on. You need to go have a chat with an actual professional licensed therapist who can help you through these things. It's probably worth more of the money anyway than whatever the fuck the Starseed therapist is going to charge you.
You feel as though human norms of behavior are absurd and make no sense.
Your fucking behaviors are absurd and make no sense.
You struggle to adapt and be a part of society.
I mean, again, that's literally every neurodiverse person on the planet, whether it's social or emotional or performance or anything like that. They need help. They don't need to be told that there's some sort of unique freaking snowflake, what is the snowflake starseed or something like that, especially because it also leads them down a path that'll keep them away from getting mental health.
You easily see flaws in how the collective is organized.
Mostly because the collective shits on you because you stand out for one reason or another.
It simply makes no sense to you at all. You struggle to participate in all of the typical aspects of human life.
I mean, you are literally describing autistic people. Nothing Starseedish about that unless you want to allege that every person on the spectrum is a fucking alien. Are we going to go down that road?
Family gatherings, parties, small talk, business, career, banking, eating a typical diet, watching movies, commuting,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
There are endless ways that participating in daily life can feel foreign and jarring to you.
Life is stressful. And even if you're not on the spectrum, it can be hard, even for someone who's a neurotypical, to kind of go through this stuff. So are you essentially saying that anybody that has issues with, say, their job or their parents or just life in general is also a starseed? If this is the case, then practically every human on the planet is a starseed.
What is considered normal to most can seem like an affront to your very essence. The jarring nature of human life can lead you to develop challenging symptoms in your physical body, such as headaches.
Oh, wow. Headaches. Like, just thinking about how my social life is could give me a headache. And it's not because I'm having a stress reaction or anything like that. It's just because I'm an alien incarnated into a spirit or something like that. Come on, have these people ever heard of Occam's razor?
Especially at the point where the head and neck meet.
Well, yeah. If you have a headache, then usually that's where you're going to have head pain. That's what a headache is.
Digestive issues, as you struggle to ingest and process what you're taking in. Autoimmune deficiencies and allergies.
So what you're essentially saying is that starseeds are literally anybody with an autoimmune disease, anyone with serious allergies, and anyone with digestive issues, which is kind of funny because there's studies out there that argue that a lot of autistic people also have issues with gut flora, which can also cause digestive issues. So again, it's kind of like reinforcing itself in like all sorts of different ways. And then so with the autoimmune deficiencies and allergies, are you kind of implying that starseeds are weak? Because that's what it seems like you're doing. It seems like these starseeds are being incarnated into here because they're cursed or something. Otherwise, like, why even send them here if they're going to be put through the hell of an autoimmune deficiency? Maybe take them out and, I don't know, send them home or something.
Mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, which indicates a connection to multiple dimensions of...
I hope BB is not here because she would probably throw a fit at hearing this. No, that is not what's going on at all with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a disorder of the mind. It is a disorder of the brain that makes it think in a different way from the rest of humanity. And not because it's some sort of magical starseed thing. It's just because there's something wrong with the brain that causes it to have issues.
Reality, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and depression are also common manifestations of being a starseed.
There are also common manifestations of living in a really, really shitty society that's full of crap and treats you as nothing more than a slave until you're dead. There's nothing starseedish about that. Some cultures are just absolutely shitty. I mean, yeah, you can argue the US is particularly shitty, but there's other countries out there that are just as shitty about their society.
In general, the idea is that until you understand the true nature of who you are as a starseed, why you have come, and how to take care of yourself in this human world.
Well, I thought we weren't supposed to know how we came. You said that we weren't supposed to know anything. Then why do we have to know about this? What is with this contradiction here? So are we supposed to know what's going on, or are we not supposed to know what's going on? Give us something consistent.
It will continue to be challenging for you to deal with reality on Earth.
It's difficult for anyone to fucking deal with reality on Earth. There's no real difference between a normal person and a starseed, as far as I've noticed, according to this video.
Hypersensitivity to noise, smell, touch, visual stimulation, and environments in general is also very common.
With autism.
This is because where you come from, the frequencies are highly refined and harmonious.
You got a citation for that? Like, anywhere? Because I don't exactly remember anything prior to me being born. I don't even remember being born. Earliest memories I have are from when I was like 4 years old. Logically speaking, wouldn't I remember anything about this unless my memory was wiped for some reason? And if it was, then that's kind of not fair for me, because that brings me here to think that I'm not a starseed then. Why should someone else have to tell me that I'm a starseed if I'm supposed to know from day one that I'm incarnated? That makes literally no sense.
It is difficult for you to process dense, disharmonious energies.
I mean, what's disharmonious? That could arguably be anything. It could be that you saw something weird happen outside when you were running an errand. It could be that someone pissed you off at work. I mean, these are all just common, normal things that happen. They suck, yes, but they're not some weird disharmonious energy that's out to kill you.
They clash with your being and overwhelm you. Starseeds have a strong resonance with sound and vibration.
Well, arguably speaking, every human has a strong resonance with sound and vibration. What's the point? What is the difference? There doesn't seem to be one.
They may be musicians, sound healers, or people who respond well to music for its healing properties.
Oh, really? So, are you into boy bands? Are you really passionate about Metallica? Do you really like Guns N' Roses? In which case, you too might be a starseed, according to these people. I mean, like, this could mean anything. And I've seen some of the sound healers at Conscious Life Expo. Trust me, they're weird, but they're not aliens.
They are acoustically sensitive. Starseeds,
yes, you've already established this,
who are musicians and sound healers, can open up to creating music and sounds that are unusual, otherworldly, and may never have been heard before.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that, some of that music at Conscious Life Expo. Some of it was decent, and some of it just sounded like something that you would hear out of a Lovecraftian cult. But, I mean, I guess either way, it is something that you would never expect to hear on Earth.
They may even create new instruments or use instruments in new ways.
I have yet to see a brand new instrument that was created by a starseed or a New Ager or anything like that. Yeah, you could argue the triangle was one, but I mean, the triangle has been around for years. That is not a new invention. Drums, they've been around for thousands of years. Gongs, same thing. There's nothing new that the sound healers such as Anna Netanel and other people use.
Many starseeds have a natural draw towards and connection to the ethereal realms. They might feel naturally at ease with or capable of astral travel.
So astral travel is essentially projecting yourself into the astral plane. It could also be considered remote viewing. I know for a fact that remote viewing doesn't exist. You want to know how I know that? because the U.S. government and the U.S. military tried to do it and they couldn't find any evidence for it. So no, because if psychic abilities existed at all, if magic existed, if any form of spellcasting truly existed in the world, the militaries would grab it immediately and use it. I mean, there's case evidence for it in fantasy books. There's all sorts of militaries that have mages that fight for them. The U.S., the U.K., Japan, China, they'd all have army divisions that were all mages if that was the case, but they don't, which is pretty much showing that this stuff truly does not exist.
Meditation, channeling, intuition, psychic abilities, communicating with non-physical beings.
And the non-physical beings are always things that you can never see, never interact with, but they always supposedly tell you what to do in one way or another. What does that remind you of, Christians? Does that remind you of anyone particularly familiar to you, TL?
They are likely to have vivid dreams, prophetic dreams, and vivid imaginations.
I mean, given the right substances, you can have all sorts of vivid dreams. When I take melatonin, I get all sorts of weird ass dreams.
However, all of these abilities might be feared and diminished based on an individual's upbringing and environment.
Which is true. I mean, sometimes you have to be reined in, but sometimes they can also lead to abuse as well. It can totally depend. But again, this is all stuff that you see with people on the spectrum as well. So there's really no difference here.
If such things are not supported in their environment, a starseed might be quite fearful of and even unaware of these innate abilities.
Because they're not abilities. They're not anything tangible. There is no starseed. It's all fantasy.
Some starseeds can have an alien-like or unusual appearance, such as having prominent features.
Prominent features. That's vague enough to work, I suppose.
And being very tall or very short.
Okay, so, if you are super duper tall, then apparently you're an alien. And if you are as short as Gimli, then apparently you're also an alien too. God, we're just running all sorts of diversity right here. And no, this is all because of genetic factors, all things such as mutations and things like that. These are all things that can be easily explained with empirical and observable evidence, not some sort of random belief that we are all just magical starseed aliens that got crammed into a fetus.
Being disproportionate in some way. They are most commonly not very squat and earthbound in their physique.
But you literally just said that they could be very short. That would argue that they were squat. So now you're contradicting yourself.
Often there is a lightness to them that can mean on a practical level they struggle to be grounded in the physical plane.
What the hell does that even mean? Grounded in the physical plane. I guess that means like to be stable in reality or something like that. Because that's just, why do they have to vague things up like this so much? Oh, I know exactly why. It's so that they can be twisted to interpret into literally any frickin' thing, which kind of dilutes the whole argument that they're trying to make in the first place.
They may be spacey, forgetful. They are highly intelligent and possess great awareness and wisdom.
I don't deny that. I mean, you can definitely get that kind of savantness stuff in people on the spectrum, but it's incredibly rare. What this person is describing is a sheer rarity among humanity in general. So, if starseeds were to actually exist, I would say that maybe 1 out of like 2 million people who watch this video would actually be starseeds. And I bet you, if you watch the actual video, there's probably like 10 to 12 different people that think that they're starseeds. So, yeah.
Especially as they grow into their true nature, generally after the first 30 years of life.
Their first 30 years of life, when they probably realize that everything that they've been told is absolute garbage, and now they're working some desk job, and they're living, and it's completely miserable as all hell. They may have had hopes and dreams in their early 20s, but now they realize it's all garbage. All society is a garbage. I'm sorry, you're not a starseed. You're just a normal human being.
But in some cases sooner.
Depression does suck.
Starseeds carry an imprint of astral intelligence within their being, that they are here to share through their energy being.
And again, we've got the whole you're supposed to do something, but apparently we're not supposed to be doing something. We're not supposed to know everything because we're supposed to be told through as if we're some sort of puppet or something, but at the same time, we're also supposed to know this stuff. You can't get your goddamn story straight. What the fuck?
Therefore, they are natural energy healers.
Natural energy healers. So I'm not entirely certain what that means. They could argue it both literally and metaphorically. We'll do both. So literally, if they are energy healers, that means Reiki and things like that. That's all a bunch of nonsense, because all Reiki essentially is meditating, putting your hands on somebody and just like swerving them around like this to make it look all wavy and mystical. You can even do it remotely. I've actually seen TikTok videos where they do the weird handy thing in front of the camera, and it's all like you have to consent to the energy for healing and all that stuff, because of which is an asterisk. What is an asterisk, you might say? An asterisk is a way for a charlatan to escape being called on when the results when you get results that aren't what you expected. In other words, when you supposedly use Reiki to heal some sort of cancer and the cancer is still there. In this case, the asterisk is, well, you obviously didn't really fully consent to the energy. You fully didn't receive the energy. And as such, the energy didn't work for you. Another one is with the law of attraction. The law of attraction says that what you think about, you attract. But when you think about something and you don't attract it, then there's all sorts of excuses, such as, well, you didn't manifest it correctly, or you weren't grateful enough, or you weren't seeking good intentions with it. And my personal favorite is, well, you just weren't a match to it. These are all asterisks. These are all excuses, much like what's going on here.
If you respond to and desire energy healing, especially on a regular basis, you are likely a starseed.
So if you want Reiki, you're officially a starseed. Sorry, them's the rules.
If you are a gifted energy healer who gets results with your clients, you are almost certainly a starseed.
Does that mean that every doctor in the world that's good at what they do is a starseed? If that's the case, I got some news for student Dr. Ben, and I don't think he's gonna like it very much.
Where you are from, all are energy healers.
Everyone is an energy healer. That literally makes no sense, because if everybody was an energy healer, then what about all the other roles that would supposedly be there in a society? Whereas all the people that are trying to manage all the money, and even if it is a moneyless society, there's still resources that would have to be managed. There's still people that would need to be defended. There's still people that need to handle other things. There's a whole bunch of other things in society beyond just a whole bunch of people that just heal. Because imagine if everybody in the United States was a doctor. I mean, yeah, it would be pretty cool, but what about garbage people? What about shoe salesmen? What about any kind of salesman for that matter? What about someone who wants to invent things? Everybody can't be a healer. That's logically ridiculous.
Energy is our language and how we communicate. We transmit information to each other through energy packets of intelligence.
Okay. I just transmitted a energy packet of intelligence a message about this video. Did y'all get it? No? Well, then you're obviously not intelligent. No. It's garbage. That is absolute freaking garbage. Because even if our brains could project like the law of attraction in this video's claim that they do, our energy would maybe go out like 2 feet. And even if it did, it would be so diminished that it wouldn't even be recognizable. And this is something that you can empirically observe. So that right there completely puts to the trash any kind of whole like ESP or energy packets or turning my brain into an antenna or whatever the fuck else garbage that there is out there.
We touch each other for exquisite and high impact sharing and transference of love information.
Boop. Boop. sounds ridiculous.
Humans also have this ability, but in most it is unawakened or very dull.
It is unawakened or very dull. No, touch is good with consent, of course. Touch is good. We touch our partners. We touch our partners. We might give our friends a pat on the back. We might pet our cats. We might give our dogs a back rub or something like that. Touch is good. We like touch. It gives us dopamine. It's not something something that's just unique to starseeds. Humans feel it too, because again, there are no frickin' starseeds. Touch is pretty much the same to almost every human on the planet for the most part.
Part of all Starseed's mission.
There's that Starseed mission again. So apparently Starseeds do have a mission, but we also don't know what it is. And we have to touch and awaken the capacity for humans. Wait, what?
Is to literally touch and awaken the capacity for humans to give and receive energy information.
So we now have to touch all the humans now. That just sounds great. We have to touch everybody now, and we have to do it in a way that's going to raise their energy or something like that. No, I got news for you. If you're going around touching people around like that without their consent, you're going to be seen as a creep and or possibly prosecuted. So, Starseeds, don't do that.
This will greatly enhance consciousness on this planet.
No, it will not. Going around randomly touching people to try to raise their frequencies is not going to do that. In fact, it is going to do the opposite of that. Because again, that just looks really weird. And yeah, you can argue that it's weird to everybody else because you're a starseed, but I mean, come on, dude, come on. Even starseeds should have to understand respecting consent and personal space.
The tendency of humans to dismiss information that is non-physical and multidimensional is one of the greatest limitations.
No, that is not what humans do. Humans do not just simply disbelieve or dispute any of that stuff. A logical and reasonable human, we're not talking the insanity that is Greg Locke or Hank Kunneman or anything like that. A logical and reasonable human would be someone that observes and believes things based on empirical evidence. That there is evidence to suggest something is, or evidence to suggest that something is not. And there really isn't a lot of evidence that there's some magical alien spaceship floating somewhere between Mars and Uranus projecting messages to random people on Earth. If there is, we would have picked up on it by now. And even if you argue that it wouldn't have been, wouldn't the aliens want humans to pick up on it? Wouldn't they want that? Wouldn't they want to be able to communicate in a way to everybody that makes it empirically observable? Proof to say the scientists that there are aliens out there that actually maybe want to help us? Instead of just you yourself saying that you closed your eyes and said a few words and then all of a sudden you believe that aliens spoke to you? Your entire story completely falls apart.
That is currently widespread, that prohibits the development of consciousness. This attitude has also led many starseeds to diminish and doubt their innate knowing, which found no basis in physical reality.
Because there's no evidence. And whatever evidence there might be is something that is either twisted and interpreted in a way that is not what it truly is, or just something that was completely pulled out of someone's ass. There is no real empirical evidence to prove anything that starseeds supposedly believe. That's what completely fell for me. That and also the frequent contradictions that I encountered in the New Age religion. It's all just contradictions and excuses.
It has kept starseeds from wanting to awaken and share the light of their truth, because it will inevitably be a non-physical transmission.
Non-physical transmission. This is literally coming from the person that said that a starseed's job is to touch people. So that would be a physical transmission. But now all of a sudden it's going to be a non-physical transmission? Once again, it's another freaking contradiction here. It's just weird.
Starseeds can fall away from their mission by becoming over-identified with their intellect and devoting their life energy to a mission of science or proving things in the material world.
Oh, hi! Hi there! That's me you're talking about, you bitch! Yeah, it's almost like I realized New Age bullshit is legit bullshit.
They can become the worst skeptics and attackers of the non-physical energetic intelligence.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens when you realize that everything you believed was a lie. You get that in the atheist community from all the people who escaped some of the more hardcore Christian faiths. Because we realize that everything that is coming out of your mouth is pure, total bullshit.
Because they themselves fear their own abilities and what they might know if they allow themselves to.
No, I don't fear my own abilities. I know what my abilities are. And they certainly don't involve communing with spirits or communing with some alien that's sitting on his toilet 6,000 miles above Sedona. Talking to you, Bashar. I am fully aware of what I can and cannot do, and I know now that I have experience and I have understood the many contradictions and empirical evidence otherwise that these aliens either do not exist, or if they do in some random way, they're not talking to us the way that some people claim that they are.
These misled starseeds can become the spearheads of capitalism, materialism, development of harmful technologies, chemists creating harmful medicines.
Harmful medicines, you say? What exactly warrants a harmful medicine? I would very much like to know what exactly warrants a harmful medicine. Because I'm guessing the answer rhymes with Maxine. Sorry, that was the only thing I could come up with.
Scientists that are pawns for the powerful.
No, those are just people that just want money and don't give a shit, or just sociopaths. They're not starseeds. You could argue that they're reptilians, but again, reptilians also don't exist as well.
Many more starseeds simply withdraw from their mission by hiding away and disengaging from society to protect themselves.
Society is scary. I can get that.
They stop interacting and become insular, only engaging with a small group of confidants.
Which conveniently are probably an echo chamber that tells them everything is true, and then we have to get this problem dealt with greater and greater.
Unfortunately, this also keeps them from working with their mission for being here.
This mission that we supposedly know about, but also don't know about.
Rather than understanding that they are a strong warrior of our kind that came on a mission they were willing to take, they feel more like a weak, defective human.
I mean, a lot of people feel like that. And that's because a lot of us are weak, defective humans. Not everybody is an ideal human. You get all sorts of people with mental and physical disabilities. We should be looking out for them, not claiming that there's something that they're not. I mean, this even goes into the whole thing about ADHD being a superpower, even though that's not really Starseed related. It's kind of on similar lines, because what you're essentially saying is, oh, this person has autism, therefore they must clearly be some magical starseed or something like that, which is patently wrong.
Human life becomes exceedingly difficult for starseeds when they are too identified with the human aspect of themselves. Yes, you are a human.
So I'm a human now. So I'm not an alien that's incarnated into a human soul, into a human. I'm just a human now. Your own story does not even make sense in your own video.
Yes, part of your mission includes embodying humanness, but in equal measure, it is to exemplify your starseed nature and to share with humans the evolution of consciousness that we have to share.
That just sounds like a whole bunch of religious gobbledygook to me. I'm sure you, as some Christians out here in my audience, would probably have seen something similar in the whole, we have to spread the good news and the gospel of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That is exactly the same kind of rhetoric that you're seeing right now.
You simply cannot do that if you are over-identified as a human.
So what exactly does it mean to be over-identified as a human? What's the dividing line between human and starseed? And I thought we were supposed to be human. So now we have to be But now you can be too much human? Isn't the whole point of this to be human, or are we still starseeds? You're completely kind of mixing this all up here. Are we supposed to be humans, or are we supposed to be something else?
In order to be effective as a starseed, you must first wake up to and accept your starseed origins.
You must believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
You must make contact directly.
You must pray to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and receive a message from our God. See how the rhetoric is just so fucking familiar?
In doing so, you will immediately gain a far greater understanding of who you are and why you came.
But I thought we weren't supposed to know why we came. You literally said that at the beginning of all of these little text videos right here. So why are you changing your story? Why are you changing your argument? This makes literally no sense here. So apparently we're supposed to know what we're doing here, but we're also not supposed to know what we're doing here. And again, the parallels to Christianity and God are just all over the place. You're supposed to pray to God for him to tell you what to do because he's the one that's taking the wheel and owns the shop now. It's to borrow some commentary from Alcoholics Anonymous and Overeaters Anonymous.
Maintaining the support of that contact will make it easier for you to operate in your everyday life as a human.
I mean, yeah, having a community of friends that you can rely on usually helps you as a human in navigating life. But you don't have to be a starseed for that. You can just be any human. Because again, there are no starseeds. Just humans that may have some mental issues that hopefully a community can help with.
We will describe a method for you to do this in a later moment.
Please don't. Please stop with the ringing. I have tinnitus.
Welcome back.
Go
I
away.
used to say in my Discover Your Genius course, where I helped people really get...
Yes, that's another thing. Starseeds and life coaches and charlatans such as this person, they all have these courses. What are these courses, you might ask? They're all these courses about attaining true inner power, or attaining magic, or things like that. And they always conveniently sell for absurd amounts of money. I've seen coaching classes go for upwards of $5,000. I think Teal has her Teal Swan, who we all know and hate on this channel. She's got that completion process certification, which is untested, unempirically observed, hasn't gone through clinical trials, but she's showing it as if it'll make you a legit psychotherapist. That retails for about $5,000, and the chance, and it's not a 100% guarantee that you'll pass and get the certificate either. How do you get the certificate? Who the fuck knows? Apparently it's up to Teal.
Clear on what their gifts are. Until you claim your gift is a problem. For example, I used to always be told when I was a kid, you're too sensitive, Karen. Stop being...
No, I'm not gonna lie. That kind of stuff is easy evidence of gaslighting. And that kind of stuff's not cool. And it's really sad that a lot of people that would identify as starseeds also very likely had physical and emotional abuse. And it just serves as a way for them to think, oh, well, maybe the reason I was abused was because I incarnated into all of this. And getting this whole idea that that not only did you incarnate into a family where you received abuse, there's starseeds out there that argue that you chose this, that you chose to undergo this trauma, that you chose to be physically abused, that you chose even worse abuse for reasons that are apparently beyond your understanding. Something about raising your frequencies, attaining enlightenment, the reasons go on. But this can get really scary because if you go in there thinking that, that can really hurt your mental health.
So sensitive. And I really took that in and understood my sensitivity as a problem. And it wasn't until much later in my life, in my 20s, when I went to a course with this beautiful man, Herman Mueller. He reads bodies.
Body reading is, again, something that's a load of bullshit. I don't know too much about Herman Mueller, but we're looking into him right now. Suffice it to say, it sounds like he's just another lunatic charlatan.
Part of somatic psychology, and he looked at my fingers, my long skinny fingers, and my pointy chin.
none of which actually will tell you anything beyond maybe how your genes constructed the way that you look. Your physical appearance does not reflect your mental abilities at all for the most part, especially not in the way that these people like to read your body.
And my slim body and my hair. And he said,
Are you sure that this was legitimate? Because this is kind of sounding really creepy.
"Oh, you're very sensitive. You're
This is very
a
creepy.
Ferrari. Just like a Ferrari is a highly tuned vehicle." And the way he said it was so much love.
I'm sure. Yeah, he's probably never said that to anyone else. Ever. Especially another woman. I'm sure he's never said that to anybody. That was something unique to you, that you're as sensitive as a Ferrari. Quick question, does he own a Ferrari?
And so much appreciation for the vehicle of my body and how
The vehicle of my body. I'm betting this guy owns a fucking Ferrari. Or at least he wants one. To go on a tangent here, I learned a long time ago that the Ferrari company, they don't just give anybody that wants a Ferrari a Ferrari. You have to basically apply for one, and you have interviews and conversations with the company, and if and only if they like you, do you get the opportunity to purchase a Ferrari. If they don't like you, you're SOL. Go buy a Rolls Royce or something more that commoners would yours.
I'm created, that it instantly created a shift in me. He was a star
Well, yeah, he was blowing smoke up your ass. I imagine it probably lit up all sorts of happy vibes in your head.
Starseed Herman, and he really did carry that frequency of love. And so the way that he said it made me reinterpret my gifts of sensitivity in a positive light, and also made
So there you go. This guy spoke a few magic words, and then all of a sudden, you're just magically a starseed or something like that. You can buy a secondary Ferrari without that interview. I think, yeah, you're right. You could probably buy one used, but you got to go through the rigors if you want a new Ferrari.
me aware of the need to take care of these gifts. So, for example, if you have a Ferrari, you don't just like take it driving on the back roads. One woman I met, she actually
Well, what the hell else are you gonna do with it? Just hold it up in your garage and just only show it and just only show it? That kind of defeats the purpose of having a Ferrari in the first place. You want to get that thing out there to frickin' rock house and things like that.
she owned a Ferrari, and it was in Vancouver, where she didn't even live. She lived in Calgary, but her Ferrari she kept in Vancouver, and she had a mechanic that would visit her Ferrari once a month, even though she wasn't driving it, because it needed to be tinkered with in order to stay happy.
She's probably not lying about that. Ferraris are very high maintenance, and the maintenance gets very expensive because there are a lot of handcrafted parts on a Ferrari.
And I just loved that metaphor.
But she's comparing herself as a starseed to a Ferrari. I'm sorry, you are not a Ferrari. You are, even if what you are saying is correct about starseeds, you're no Ferrari. You're a Toyota Corolla. And I got nothing against Toyota Corollas. I own a Toyota Corolla. But you're not a Ferrari. You're the same crap of the universe that we all are.
Of being a highly sensitive vehicle, that in order to really take responsibility for that gift, there's certain ways that I need to behave in order to make sure that
So now there's rules to being a starseed, huh? Go on.
I'm well tended to. And, as a starseed, when I heard this transmission or reread it recently, I just thought, oh, wow, it's really kind of
The whole transmission thing, that's when the aliens beam things down into your heads. Kind of like when you pray to God and God tells you things. The parallels are just ridiculous at this point. You could literally replace alien with Jesus and many things, and that would pretty much get the same answer.
focused on all the dysfunctions of the challenges of being a starseed. And so it's important to recognize some of those challenges and what separates you from being a normal human. Because when you understand that and you
Then you probably start realizing that there are actual places that you can get empirical evidence-based help, and not from some random Starseed coach who's probably trying to con you out of your money.
you can really claim it, you can then take responsibility for it so that you can operate with more ease and also really take care of yourself in this world. In the first couple episodes of Awaken to Your Starseed Mission, there are more positive messages that are shared about the traits of starseeds.
Let me guess, there's some things on the lines of, you are amazing, you are powerful, you are enlightened, and a certain sort of billion other platitudes that you can probably find at Cafe Gratitude.
Which weren't included in this chapter, so
because she's saving it for the paywall.
I'm gonna just check out and read you some of those so that we can end on more of an uplifting note.
Please don't.
Beings are harmonious. We deal in well-being and beauty. We love.
Yada, yada, yada. It's the same stuff you hear with every other person, every other thing. You are amazing. You are great. You are here to do great things. And a whole bunch of other things that our parents probably told us when we were kids. But we can do anything. It's the same old shit. It all doesn't mean anything.
Well-being. We are harmonized within ourselves. We are energy beings. We deal in energy. We all possess gifts and use them generously, carry the frequencies of illumination to enlighten others, awakening them to their true nature as harmonious light beings. Your true nature is pure, undying consciousness, which is one.
No, our consciousness is nothing. All it is just a bunch of our brain, of neurons and electricity firing off in our brains. When we die, lights go out. That's basically it.
Therefore, it is connected, all-knowing, all-seeing, and contains within it everything. It is everywhere and everything, all at the same time.
Everywhere and nowhere, I am reality. Stop ripping off South Park.
You are a guide, a way shower. You provide energy healing, which will pass on to others the energy signatures of.
Then you should probably sell your services for $300. And when it inevitably doesn't work for your clients, just say that they didn't accept the energy properly and offer to do it again for the same amount of money.
Light consciousness that you carry. Light consciousness has the inherent quality of deprogramming the grooved patterning of pain consciousness.
You mean indoctrinating? Christians like to do that too.
You are a warrior. You were chosen from among thousands of us as one with exceptional strength, stamina, and courage.
Then clearly they did not do a good job, given that so many of these starseeds, according to you, have all of these autoimmune diseases and mental issues. Like, what were you thinking sending these people? Are these your best? Because if they're your best, if these are the best that these starseeds can produce, I would get very concerned about the souls that didn't get chosen to become starseed humans.
You were chosen for your heart of willingness that burned with a desire to serve us.
Which probably means nobody else wanted the job.
And to serve Earth. You were strong, capable. You knew you could do this. You wanted nothing more than to play your role on Earth.
And also, come on, lady, make some eye contact, will ya?
Right here, right now. Yeah, I feel.
Okay, there you go. Just get right in my face. I take back my wish.
That's a nicer note to end on. Although if you've already watched the previous episodes, you already know those things. But it's nice to be reminded. So there's a lot of beauty and gifts of consciousness that as a starseed you're here to share. And
I mean, just be a good human. That's what's going on here. You don't have to claim that you're on some mission from God. You don't have to claim that you're a starseed. You don't have to believe that you're a starseed. You don't have to rely on aliens flying around Uranus. You can just be a good human. You don't have to listen to this shit.
You really must remember that. Because when you forget and you over-identify as a human, then, at least for me...
But we are humans, according to you. But we're also not humans. Get your story straight.
Me, I just feel like completely defective human. But when I can remember, oh yeah, that there's a reason for my gifts and the way that they are, and that I'm here for a reason. And even just making this video today brought me out of a feeling low place, because
She probably kept it in, much like I do when I stream. Some days I just don't want to stream. I mean, I have a job that sucks a lot of days, so yeah.
I'm
But that's nothing to do with you being a starseed. That just has everything to do with being in a shitty job.
activating the whole reason I'm here, which is to be of service. And that just makes me feel so good and so aligned and so right. In the next episode, we'll be exploring how starseeds communicate through energy transmissions. And so this is
Energy transmissions, you say. So I guess this is what she was kind of hinting at with the whole intelligence packets thing. Apparently, we all got like antennas, I guess, on our heads or something. It's like My Favorite Martian. Do they just come out like this and we just broadcast to each other like we're all on AOL Instant Messenger? Does anyone remember that? Jesus.
If you are opening up to channeling and you are opening up to making direct contact with your origins, your source origins, yourself, then understanding these energy transmissions and how they come is going to really serve you to establish that contact.
How interesting. Well, I think I got my topic for next week. Thank you, lady.
And this is also how I opened to channel, was receiving these energy packets. So I'll be explaining that in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself. Much love.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably want to cough too after that. All right. There you go. So that is the end of our show for tonight. I know I usually go for another hour, but the truth is I'm kind of tired right now, so we're actually going to go ahead and end it right here. Thank you so much for participating and watching World of Woocraft. I may or may not stream tonight on Twitch. It'll probably be either Saga Frontier or Fortnite. I'm not really sure which, because I'm a little bit tired and I want something a little bit more relaxing, and I haven't played all day because I don't play Fortnite when I'm going to do World of Woocraft because I don't want it to stress me out. I mean, I wouldn't ideally work either, but I've got no choice on that. So next week, we will cover whatever the hell it is that starseeds do to instant message each other. But until then, remember, have a good one, and seek semper farad.